the Teal Hymnal, hymn number 1055, How Sweet the Darkness. Teal Hymnal 1055.
Good morning. Welcome to the December 22nd service of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Grand Traverse. My name's Dan Tholen. I'm a member of the Sunday Service Committee, and I'm coordinator for today's service. For those of us here in the sanctuary, please silence your communication devices so that we can be fully present. And before we begin, I want to invite you to share any joys or concerns you might have. You can write them in the book over here to the right for the next 10 minutes or so, and Ann will read them a little later in the service. Well, it's the second day of winter, huh? And it feels like it. At last. We welcomed winter's arrival here on Friday, of course, at the solstice service, and thank you for so many of the volunteers who came to help us take out the chairs in this room and put them back sort of like they were before. And the volunteers who made the soups, chili, bread. It was really, I think, a magic evening. The Celtic musicians made it really special. And the best news is the ceremony was a success. Winter came, the sun came up again, and the days are starting to get longer. So we did it. So all are welcome here today in our sanctuary and online. Wherever you are, however you celebrate this sacred time of year, you are welcome here today. There is no obligation, but if you're a visitor here today and comfortable doing so, please rise and introduce yourself. Chris will have a microphone so everybody can hear. Is there anybody that'd like to introduce themselves? Oh, Chris, thank you.
Hi, we are the Henner family, Cheryl, Jeremy, and Lillian, and we live in Traverse City. We attended the UU Church in Grosse Pointe, and we live here now, so we're happy to come and see what you're all about.
Very welcome. Anybody else? Well, please join us in the social hall afterwards, and you're welcome for the children's activities also. Okay, today's service is titled Seasons of Light, and we'll explore traditions of the season in different northern cultures and spiritual communities. Where in these northern communities, I think the reason for the season really is the shortness of daylight. So this service should be enlightening. my own understanding of the reason for these celebrations is I was wondering why. What's the benefit? Why do we hold major celebrations at the darkest time of year, especially at a time when resources might be scarce and you'd like to store up for the winter? But to be widespread as it is, there had to be some anthropological or evolutionary benefit somehow. Maybe eat up all the perishable food before it rotted, turn it into body fat, store it there. But I think there had to be more. The simplest practical benefit that came to me was realize that in early civilizations, of course, people were compelled to spend a lot of time in shelter for warmth as much of anything, and obviously very close quarters in those times. And we all understand seasonal affective disorder. I think the simple fact is that if the people didn't celebrate, they'd probably tear each other apart or head for the hills by the end of January. So that's the simplest explanation I have. I don't want to be dismissive of it, but something's there. Anyway, cultures that celebrated together were more likely to tolerate each other and to survive the winter. And now we'll learn something about how they did that. So we'll begin with our centering music, Fred.
Joyous light of heavenly glory, loving glow of God's own face, you who sing creation's story, shine on every land and race. Now as daylight shines around us, we shall raise our songs to you. God of daybreak, God of shadows, come and light our hearts anew. In the stars that grace the darkness, in the blazing sun of dawn, in the light of peace and wisdom, we can hear your quiet song. Love that fills the night with wonder, love that warms the weary soul, love that bursts all chains asunder, set us free and make us whole. You who made the heavens splendor, every dancing star of night, make us shine with gentle justice. Let us each reflect your light. Mighty God of all creation, gentle Christ who lights our way, loving Spirit of salvation, lead us on to endless day.
Whoever you are and wherever you are on life's... Oh, I need to turn my microphone on. Oh, it is on. Are you not picking this up? Can you hear me now? Check one, check two. Oh, okay, hold on. One moment. There we go. Well, as I was saying, whoever you are and wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here with us this morning. It's so good to see so many of you on this really cold morning in winter. I'm Reverend Alex, the senior minister here at UUCGT. I use he and him pronouns. And welcome to this sacred time of welcoming the dark to dance with the light. A time when many of the world's traditions are entering a season of light in the midst of seasons of darkness and our longest nights. We will be hearing from members and friends of our community who will share and offer up from their different traditions this morning, and it'll be quite a wonderful collection of different traditions that we're celebrating and honoring today. And as you settle into this time, I invite you to hear these words from the Reverend Rob McCall, a late minister in the United Church of Christ, our similar cousins, across traditions there. He had some deep Unitarian Universalist leanings, and I think you'll hear it in what he has to say. He writes, "It's curious that just now, when our northern skies and lands are becoming darkest, nearly every religion and spiritual tradition is entering a season of light. Everywhere people are gathering and praising the light. Are we in some sort of denial? Don't they notice the ever-growing night? Don't they see dark wars raging while they celebrate the birthday of the peaceful Buddha, or chatter on about the Prince of Peace, or light the menorah? We make fire in our fireplaces. We light candles. We hang evergreen wreaths on our houses and haul green trees into our living rooms now that the green is gone from our fields. What kind of madness and folly is this? It is the madness of memory and the folly of hope. The madness of memory and the folly of hope are not bound by what the eyes can see. They remember the rhythm of darkness and light and know that light always follows darkness. In barns and in kitchens, we sculpt hope with our hands, bending boughs of balsam into wheels of life and blending beeswax into flames of light. We manufacture life out of death, light out of darkness, and light will always shine in the darkness. So come, let us gather the light and let us worship together this morning.
Would you please rise in body or in spirit and join us in singing hymn number 1055, found in your teal hymnal, How Sweet the Darkness. When windows that are black and cold are lit anew with fires of gold, when dusk and quiet shall descend, and darkness come once more a friend, when wings pursue their proper flight, and bring not terror but delight, when clouds are innocent again, and hide no storms of deadly rain, and when the sky is swept of wars, and keeps but gentle moon and stars, that peaceful sky, that harmless air, how sweet the darkness there.
Please be seated.
If all of my young friends or young at heart would like to come forward, I've got a story for us this morning. Come on up. Hello, hello. Good morning. How's everybody doing this morning? Good. It's good to see you. So I have a story for us this morning called Winter Candle. So we're talking about bringing back the light. This brings back, or this story incorporates a lot of these different traditions that we're going to talk about today. Nana Clover checked her list. Turkey, in the oven. Potatoes, peeled. Napkins, folded just so. Candles. How could she have forgotten? Thanksgiving at 3C Juniper Court without candles? Unheard of. Down she padded 3 flights to the super. Candles, Nana C? Asked Trev. He opened a drawer and handed her a lumpy stick of wax. It's not pretty, but it'll burn. Nana Clover spread some pine cones and leaves around the frumpy candle. By the time her Thanksgiving guests arrived, the centerpiece glowed. 2 weeks later, 2G was in an uproar. The Havdalah's candle's not here, Nat yelled from the closet. In the kitchen, Mom sighed. I forgot to buy a new one. Avi's lip quivered, but the stars will be out soon. Sha, it is not the end of the world, Grandpa told the Danziger children. Avi, go and ask the neighbor for a candle. Up Avi clattered and rapped on Nana Clover's door, and down he clumped with the bumpy, drooping candle. Avi's brothers stared. That's not a Havdalah candle, Sam groaned. It's not braided. It only has one wick, Nat complained. It's not pretty, agreed Grandpa, but a candle is blessed by what it does, not by how it looks. It'll shine. And shine it did, as Mom raised it high. Grandpa said the blessing to end the Sabbath. Avi held his hands to the light. They'd never had a Havdalah candle that burned so bright. 4 mornings later, it was 4D's turn for disaster. It's broken, Kirsten wailed. Liv came running. 1, 2, 3, 4 candles on the St. Lucia crown, and the 5th one snapped in 2. Our cousins will be here any minute, said Kirsten. How can I be St. Lucia with only 4 candles? Liv started to cry. No St. Lucia crown and no special St. Lucia breakfast. Girls, we have plenty of time, Mom reassured them. Kirsten, go ask a neighbor for another candle. Down Kirsten dashed 2 flights to the Danzigers and came back with the funniest looking candle the girls had ever seen. Everyone will laugh at me, moped Kirsten. But nobody laughed, because as Kirsten carried in the teapot and St. Lucia buns, the funny-looking candle gleamed as brightly as the Star of Bethlehem. Winter came, snow fell, and presents were exchanged. The new year began, and in 5A, it began with calamity. Jamila's got something in her mouth, Dante hollered. I don't think it's food. Dad scooped up the baby and stuck his finger in her mouth. A piece of wax, a bit of string. Oh no, Dante howled. Jamila ate the faith candle for the Canara. Go see if the Ericksons have one, his sister Monet suggested. Down the stairs, Dante plodded and knocked on the door. You're lucky. We still have this one, Kirsten said. She handed him the bedraggled little candle. But Dante didn't feel lucky. How could they talk about faith with that sorry thing? And it wasn't the right color. But when Dad lit the stubby candle, the flame leaped and danced, inviting the other 6 candles to do the same. A few days later came the biggest snowstorm of the season. Snow blanketed the front steps and made drifts on the windowsills. Then just after nightfall, the electricity went out. Flashlight beams flickered in a few windows. In 5B, the newest family at Juniper Court huddled together in the dark. Their clothes were still in suitcases. The dishes were still in boxes. And Papa was somewhere in the city with a moving truck full of furniture. How will Papa find us? Nasreen asked. The streetlights are out. Papa won't find us, cried Farouk. There's too much snow. Of course he will find us, Mama said. Nasreen, go next door and ask the neighbors for a candle. We'll put it in the window to light Papa's way. Next door, Dante scratched his head. I think there's one left from Kwanzaa, he told Nasreen. He returned with a lump of wax that looked like a fairy tale troll. Nasreen's mother lit the candle and set it on the windowsill. How is Papa going to see one little candle in such a big city? Farouk asked. But as they watched, the flame shimmered and grew. It glittered on the falling snowflakes until the dark street seemed spun with stars. Many blocks away, Papa slowly steered the big truck through snow-covered streets. What did that sign say? Pine Street? Vine Street? But then Papa noticed a glow up ahead. Maybe someone there could give him directions. Papa steered left, then right, then left, closer and closer to the glowing light. Papa turned a corner and gasped. There in front of him, 5 stories up, shone a warm, welcoming light. He was home. Papa climbed 3 floors, 4 floors, 5 floors, and then, Papa's here! Nasreen and Farouk flew down the hall into their father's arms. "Come and see our new house, Papa," cried Nasreen. "And look, everyone else is coming too." The little apartment filled with neighbors. Dante's family brought chairs and a folding table. Nana Clover made a bed out of blankets for Nasreen and Farouk. Trev brought a small heater. The Erickson girls and their mother made sandwiches, and the Danzigers put a pot of soup to warm on the camping stove. Everyone welcomed Nasreen and Farouk and Mama and Papa to their new home. And the gnarled little candle glowed so brightly in the window that when the electricity finally did come back on, no one even noticed. So this morning, my friends, we're also going to light our last, or one of our last candles on our Advent wreath. Oh yeah, that one's burnt really far down, you're right.
It's burning faster than all the other ones.
Interesting. So our fourth Advent candle this morning is the candle of love. And so I have a little prayer that I'm going to say with our Advent candles. But love is really at the center of all we do, and that is the light that we are celebrating this morning, is the love that we have for one another, the love that we have for our community, for our planet, and just the love that glows inside all of us. So, since we have so many candles up here, I will do this myself this morning. Does anybody remember what the first candle we lit was? It was hope. And then we lit a candle for joy. And then we lit a candle for peace. Oh, maybe. There we go. And this morning we light a candle for love. So in the Christian tradition of Advent, Spirit of life and love, that which loves through all beings, entwining together the whole and holy universe, teach us to give love. Help us to bring our full hearts to community, to find and give love immeasurable with a generous spirit and a joyous heart. Help us to be ever blessed with the knowledge that all matter is connected, that we are a part of the whole. Teach us to know that we are never alone, for the whole of creation moves in and through us in every moment of our lives. So may we return this immense love in the compassion, generosity, and justice that we offer to the world. In the true belief that someday this world can become a beloved community that holds us all in its care, we light this candle of love.
Would you please join me in singing our children's song, Spinners and Weavers? Today we are going to sing verses 1 and 3. We are children of the stars, we are children of the earth, we are spinners and weavers in this web of life, and the joy that we weave reaches out beyond the stars and deep within the center of our being. We are children of tomorrow, we are children of our dreams. We are planners and builders in this web of life, and the future that we weave reaches out beyond the stars and deep within the center of our being.
We're staying here this morning, friends. You may
Thank
back to
you.
your seats.
And now we interrupt your regularly scheduled enjoyment for a little ad. Good morning. My name is Lauren Kyneth, and I am here to represent and to award the Ruth and Jim Gamble Service Award. 31 years ago, this building that we are sitting in and enjoying today, instead of a rented room or a borrowed space, this building was dedicated. And at the same time, an award was begun. The Ruth and Jim Gamble Service Award, which was an eponymous award for its first two winners, Ruth and Jim, who displayed their love for this community through service to the UUCGT congregation in many, many ways. We keep that tradition alive with the award of 1 to 3 winners each year. The winners are important people who have done what is necessary to do to make sure that you're enjoying this morning. Outside the office, there's a plaque that lists all of the winners for all of the years for the past 31 years. Part of that plaque is down here at the bottom of the podium this morning. There are 2 new names on that plaque that we will award this morning. Aside from their names engraved on the plaque, our winners also get a key pin. The key is like this, if you can see it on my name tag. It's very small. It can go anywhere, although I believe most of us put it on our name tag. So that's your job for today, is to go around looking for names that have a key on them. And when you find one, ask them, how can you show your love for this community? What can you do? They also get a fine certificate that's suitable for framing, and that also can go anywhere. Along with winning, there comes an obligation. Our committee is made up of the winners for the past 3 years. And I am going to introduce the current committee to you at this time. And as I call your name, please join me up here in a line along the front, which we'll use for our winners. From 2021, there's myself, Lauren Kyneth, my husband, Carl, and Mary Van Valen. From 2022, there is Richard Miller, Mary Ann Rivers Fries, and Chris Lautz. And from last year, 2023, Dusty Colton was a winner, but he could not be with us today. Kim Grebe and Judy Myers. I don't know that Judy is here. She's someplace warm. Well, sorry about that. Okay. I am going to turn this over now to Kim Grebe, who will introduce our first winner.
Good morning. As an open-minded, curious, and spiritual person, this Gamble Award winner found his way to UUCGT somewhat accidentally. Many of you will remember his locally renowned mother, who was a long-standing and beloved member of this congregation. When she could no longer drive herself to get here, this person and sibling shared the responsibility of getting Mom to her so-called church. Their words, not mine. Both had been involved in more traditional churches and were unfamiliar with Unitarian Universalism. Very fortuitously for us, it was that exposure that spoke to both of them. With a degree in architectural drafting and an extensive background as a project manager, a longtime managing partner in an architectural firm, superintendent of a general contracting firm, and construction and planning consultant and business owner, it took our distinguished person no time to become thoroughly immersed with our facilities committee, which he now chairs. Additionally, he currently serves as a board member and represents the facilities committee to the program council. Anyone who has chaired a committee or served on the board understands the tremendous amount of time and dedication required to do just one of those things. In addition to assessing and organizing the routine maintenance and repairs required to keep our facility and grounds up to snuff, this Gamble winner understands the need to keep the committee and the board focused on long-range projects. An excellent example of this was working with others to coordinate the intricate details of getting our parking lot resurfaced. He took the lead in cleaning out our flat roofs and is currently working with Jeff Norman, our AV guru back there, and Rick Walters and others to improve our AV station and camera coverage in the sanctuary. Looking at a sanctuary of potentially desperate congregants, I almost hate to mention this, but according to those who know him, He is a multi-talented person, handyman, who can fix anything. And he particularly loves a challenge, especially when it's creative. Fortunately, we at UUCGT have been able to help fulfill those needs for Charlie Bellinger. Aside from his technical aptitude, Charlie's other gifts include his ability to pull together a very cohesive team, integrating new members and ensuring everyone has a role. He's an excellent communicator, and we have benefited greatly from his contacts in the community. To sum it up, Charlie is a true gift to the Stellar Facilities Committee and to this congregation.
It is my privilege to introduce you all to our Gamble Award winner. He first attended UUCGT in 2014, having moved up from Ann Arbor, where he was a member of the board of the Unitarian Church down there. That first visit to us was also a first date for a couple of new friends who both go the distance to attend services with us now. This new award winner did not hesitate before jumping in to help our congregation, and his quiet, steady, and thoughtful influences helped shape our policies, enriched the leadership committee, and helped fill out the board's many functions. Our friend is admired by so many and in so many different ways. As an avid sailor, he has a serious interest in the water around him. To lend strong support, he joined the Board of Trustees for Tip of the Mitt Watershed Council and serves as president. He also serves as president of the Lake Charlevoix Association. He has also been on the board of Lake Charlevoix Historical Society. Working as a full-time lawyer left him little free time, but he managed to serve more than once on our UUCGT board, one stint as vice president while I was president. He kept me moving through COVID and streaming and any other challenge that came our way. He's especially adept with any changes required in church policy, and his 3 years on the leadership team fit his skills very well. We are so grateful to this award winner for all he's done for this congregation. Have some ideas? We are blessed to have him here with us. Thank you, Tom Darton, for all you do.
Chatted about over dinner last night. The work is very definitely worth it. Each one of these people up here, we all have stories to tell. It's a wonderful place to be, and thank you for coming here this Sunday.
Ojwasko wasimoka kwe indigenous cause nimki do them Traverse City and Donjaba Inde and Dao. I'm Holly Bird, and I come from the traditions of the Apache, Yaqui, and Parepacho peoples, as well as European. But I grew up here in Michigan, so I want to uplift our Anishinaabeg people, their traditions, and their language. So in the spirit of that, I'm going to say Mino Manidu Gijit, which means like Happy Spirit Day. And here, the true translation of solstice is Bun Dekate Gijik, which means snow is Bun, Dekate is night or darkness, and Gijik means day. And we have traditions amongst all of our cultures, and there's many of us that differ right? There's not a pan way of doing this, but there's commonality. And so with that, I want to share the words of Casey Camp Hornick, who some of you know as an actress and an activist, but to me she's Auntie Casey, and just a wonderful person that I got to work on the Ponca Environmental Natural Rights Ordinance, as well as the Water Protector Water Protector Legal Collective, doing water rights work. So her words are that as we enter this time of solstice, a sacred moment and a spiritual time, we reflect on the year, we tell stories, looking at photos, reminisce, and remember to walk in ceremony. The Indigenous Council that she belongs to joins energy with us and looks forward to a new season of strength, growth, protection, and solidarity globally with all relatives. Winter solstice in the northern hemisphere is summer solstice in the southern hemisphere. It's the balance between Mother Earth and Father Sun. And I'm paraphrasing just a little bit. And what we do is we watch them as they dance into the next season, and we honor that. And so in that way, we've been having all kinds of celebrations here, whether it was here at UU or last night, with friends, or in our own lodges. For me, that would be the Medeoan Lodge. And we always say locally and as UUs, this is a time when we look at what we need to change. We look inside and we look with introspection as to who we are and what that means. And also to remember the gifts that we have to bring. It's not just about looking at the negative, right? It's about looking at all of it and finding the balance there. And whenever I come up and I do these things, part of our tradition is we hold tobacco to help us to know what to say, and we put a prayer into that as we walk. And then I release it, after the service. And I usually have a little tobacco tie to put this into, like a piece of cloth, or sometimes I'll hold it in my hand. But I forgot those things this morning. And my son, who is incidentally a transgender young man, loves origami and made me this box. So it happened to be one of the origamis out of probably 20 sitting in my car. And I opened the box, I'm like, I'll stick it in here. And when I opened it, I realized he had connected, both of the sides of the box. And then there was a little note in there that just simply says, be love. And so that reminds me of course, I cried, but that reminds me that, and this was my one wish last night as we lit our candles for solstice, which is for us to always remember that spark of light that we carry, we see it when we have our children. We see it in those little X-rays that we get. I know I did when my child was born. You see the spirit of creation that happens in sonograms, and we see it in many different ways. But that spark of light is a reminder that love is what connects us all, not just to ourselves, but to each other and to all of creation. So I hope, and it's my wish today, that you all remember that wherever you go. Miigwech.
Good morning. I'm Jim Linsell, and this morning's assignment for me is to share some Buddhist ideas related to light and darkness. This is a poem that was written in the 8th century. It's titled Sandokai, which is its Japanese name. There is a Chinese name also. The poem played quite a role in the Soto school of Buddhism in Japan. There are a number of translations. This is one, and if you're interested, Wikipedia has a whole number of different translations that might be of interest if any of these ideas strike a chord for you. Sandokai, the harmony of sameness and difference. The mind of the great sage of India was intimately conveyed from west to east. Among human beings are wise ones and fools, but in the way there is no northern or southern ancestor. The subtle source is clear and bright. The tributary streams flow through the darkness. To be attached to things is illusion. To encounter the absolute is not yet enlightenment. Each and all, the subjective and objective spheres are related and at the same time independent. Related yet working differently, though each keeps its own place. Form makes the character and appearance different. Sounds distinguish comfort and discomfort. The dark makes all words one. The brightness distinguishes good and bad phrases. The four elements return to their nature as a child to its mother. Fire is hot, wind moves, water is wet, earth hard. Eyes see, ears hear, nose smells, tongue tastes the salt and sour. Each thing comes from the root, like branches and leaves from a tree. Cause and effect must return to the great reality. The words high and low are used relatively. Within light, there is darkness, but do not try to understand that darkness. Within darkness, there is light, but do not look for that light. Light and darkness are a pair, like the foot before the foot behind in walking. Each thing has its own virtue and relates to everything else in function and position. Ordinary life fits the absolute as a box and its lid. The absolute works together with the relative, like two arrows meeting in midair. Reading the words, you should grasp the great reality. Do not judge by any standards. If you do not see the way, you do not see it, even as you walk on it. When you walk the way, it is not near, it is not far. If you are deluded, you are mountains and rivers away from it. I respectfully say to those who wish to be enlightened, do not waste your time by night or day.
Good Yule. My name is Nan Worthington, and I am pagan, Wiccan to be precise. I celebrate the earth in all its sensual vulgarity. I live the wheel of the year. Its seasons of light and dark are reflective of our physical, emotional, and spiritual lives and tie us to the earth. The year begins in small, still days of cold. Keep sow and cattle hid in quiet and dark. It waits with worldly patience. Seed and stalk rest in the quiet underground until, returning the bell voices of wee birds, the barking of geese, and the lengthening of days awaken the ancient urges of feather fleece and man. Then restless farmers feel the first sprouts of spring, ready again to be nurtured into growing abundance. Soft winds and soaking rain combine to bring back the bounty of soil and hoof and rills. Sun soon comes up in the southern sky. The days grow long and light. Is loath to die. Summer is welcome. Bees hum quietly, and livestock fatten in lush pastures where grass grows tall. Foal and fawn and fledgling woodcock play in woodland. The longer days long awaited for give space for life, each living creature to embrace. But autumn's sighs soon signal lesser days when ripened grain must pay the season's price and full fruit fall with faded grace. Now color fills the leaves, cold kindles ice. The year seeks death, which takes light away, until at last there comes the shortest day. This year I do not want the dark to leave me. I need its wrap of silent stillness, its cloak of long-lasting embrace. Too much light has pulled me away from the chamber of gestation. Let the dawns come late. Let the sunsets arrive early. Let the evenings extend themselves while I lean into the abyss of my being. Let me lie in the cave of my soul, for too much light blinds me, steals the source of revelation. Let me seek solace in the empty places of winter's passage, those vast, dark nights that never fail to shelter me. By the earth that is her body, by the air that is her sweet breath, by the fires of her bright spirit, and the water of her living womb, blessed be.
One common element in the various celebrations that have been shared with us was sharing in community, usually in a sacred space. We saw that in abundance last Friday. We have it today. We will share it again in 2 days on Christmas Eve. This is the point in the service when we ask you to share your gifts to support our community, this room, the trees that struggle to stay lit, the equipment that allows our members and friends to join us from home or from Arizona. We need to support our outreach to the community and the individuals who feel threatened as we implement our new mission of offering radical love and making good trouble. So please be generous in your gifts. In the sanctuary, notice that there are 2 sides to the baskets, one for the support of the congregation and one for our presence in the community. For those of you online, you may contribute through the mail, through our website, or the Vanco mobile app. Thank you for your generosity.
Hello, my name is Ann Sweeney. I'm a member of the Congregational Care Team. That's why I get to wear this lovely stole. And I would like to talk about joys and concerns today. It's our practice as a religious community to set aside time in our service to name and honor the joys and concerns that mark our lives, the milestones and moments of our lived experience. I will be sharing the joys and concerns that have been offered up for us to hold on our hearts today. If you have a joy or concern that's a bit too heavy to share, I invite you to reach out to Reverend Alex or to the Congregational Care Team. Please raise your hands, members of the congregational care team, if you're here in the sanctuary today. I see Joni, and I see somebody over there, and oh, good, see how many? We're all spread out, so if anybody you'd like to speak with, 5 of us here. And if your joy or concern is still raw and tender, we invite you to hold it on your heart as you are held in this loving community. None of us is meant to travel life's journey alone. And so now, here's what's been shared with this gathered community. It looks like all good news today. From Bernard and Jaylene. We have a brand new great-granddaughter. Georgia Kate was born December 4th, 2024. And just as I was leaving today, I had a call from Joy Platabors, and she said she was glad that she wanted to reach me so that I could share some good news that she has with the congregation today. She said to report that they're doing well, and they have some good news on their condo, and they hope to move into Independence Village next month. And she sounded absolutely gleeful about it. So it's been a long time, and she's just, I could almost see her place right from here. So, thank you.
Would you please join me in singing our song of response, Spirit of Life, found in the gray hymnal 123.
Good morning. I'm Rick Walter, and today I'm going to share some thoughts about our Quaker concepts of holding someone in the light. I grew up as a Quaker in eastern Pennsylvania and still maintain my membership with the home meeting there. Quakers believe everyone has an inner light, which is a divine presence within them, and holding in the light means mentally connecting with that light in another person. Quakers believe that there is that of God in every person. Holding someone in the light is a Quaker practice that refers to this act of silently focusing positive thoughts and intentions towards another person, essentially offering them support and prayer by mentally connecting with their inner light, the belief that a divine spark exists within every individual. It's a way of expressing concern and wishing well-being for someone going through a difficult time. Holding in the light can be considered a form of prayer. While not explicitly stated as a prayer, many Quakers consider holding in the light to be a form of silent prayer or meditation, focusing positive energy towards someone in need. Holding in the light can be used in various situations. Quakers might hold someone in the light when someone is sick, experiencing grief, or facing challenges in their lives. Holding in the light can be community practice. During Quaker meetings, a moderator might pause to hold people in the light after sharing news about someone needing support. I'd like to share a poem by Lena, a young Canadian friend who modified an old 1905 Quaker poem by Kyle Joliffe, applying it to her own Quaker beliefs, highlighting our Quaker community, silence, and peaceful inner light. I am a young Quaker. You may call me a friend. I follow ideas and words by Margaret and Penn. My church is a community free of walls. We follow divine guidance where service calls. Our prayers, although silent, connect us at heart, and no matter how far, we're never apart. We believe in the Spirit and the inner light. To create a peaceable kingdom, we need not weapons nor might. Join us for worship, action, or tea. The Society of Friends extends a welcome to thee. And it was this background that when I walked through the doors 14 years ago here at UUCGT, I felt I was welcomed. I was invited to be here, to be a part of this wonderful community. And thank you all for being here for me and our family and for everyone else.
I'm going to talk about the Jewish tradition. Some of you may have noticed that the middle candle, thank you, that the middle candle has burnt down. I think the heat from the other candles helped it to make it quicker. That middle candle in the smaller Hanukkah, the 8, and then the middle one would be the 9th candle. The middle one is the shamash, or the worker, and that's the one that lights the other candles. So we light a candle for illuminating the schemes. Whoopsie, let me start at the beginning. Hanukkah, like all other holidays at this time of year, tries to lighten and brighten the darkness, to be a beacon for hope. It all began when the Romans tried to dictate to the Jewish people how they were supposed to worship and wanted to destroy their temple. A brave troop of small, inexperienced numbers defeated the Romans through cleverness. They restored the sanctuary and the temple, but they needed oil for the everlasting light, the light that always shines above the sacred text, the Torah. There was only enough oil for one day, and it takes 8 days to make the sacred oil for the everlasting light. The miracle was that one day of oil lasted the 8 days, and so we celebrate 8 days, lighting a new candle each day. So I'm pretending I'm lighting it for you. We light a candle as a beacon of hope, love, and peace for a better future for all people. We light a candle to give thanks for the light that has not died and those taken hostage, held without due process in foreign and local prisons, tortured and maimed as they sacrifice our dreams of liberty. We light a candle for those needing help with their exhaustion, frustration, depression over how we as humans treat each other and our planet, giving up hope by committing crimes and committing suicide. We light a candle for illuminating the schemes of billionaires who wish to control more and even us as a nation for their own selfish personal benefits. We light a candle for those who do not have the basic needs we cherish, like shelter, food, good health, education, and hope. We light a candle for the pain of so many wars and the forever hope of ceasing the painful killing and for a return of humanitarian aid to relieve the suffering of those innocent victims, like in Gaza, Ukraine, Sudan, the West Bank, and more. And we light all the candles for the forbearance and strength to remain steadfast in our continuing to illuminate a path for the deliverance of freedom, offered for freedoms of peace, justice, and harmony for all. May each of us hold this promise deep in our hearts. We have come this far always believing that justice will somehow prevail. This is the burden. This is the promise. This is why we will not fail. Don't let the lights go out. You can sing it.
What is the memory that's valued so highly that we keep it alive in the flame? What's the commitment to those who have died that we cry out they've not died in vain? We have come this far, always believing that justice will somehow prevail. This is the burden, this is the promise, and this is why we will not fail. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears.
Would you join us now in singing the dreidel song? I have a little dreidel, I made it out of clay, and when it's dry and ready, then dreidel I shall play. Oh, dreidel, 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 I made it out of clay. Oh, dreidel, 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 and then I will play. It has a lovely body with legs so short and thin, and when my dreidel's tired, it drops and I will win. Oh, dreidel, 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 I made it out of clay. Oh, dreidel, 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 and dreidel I shall play. My dreidel's always playful, it loves to dance and spin. A happy game of dreidel, come play and off we begin. Oh, dreidel, 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 I made it out of clay. Dreidel, 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 and dreidel I shall play.
If we could just take a moment of stillness to reflect on what we've heard today. We'll end our service now by releasing the flame from its service as our focus on this celebration of light. May the light of lifelong learning remain with us as we start our journey again, all of us together, one more time around the sun.
I just have one exciting announcement this Sunday. Usually I have a few of these, but our only announcement is that Christmas Eve is coming up this Tuesday. If you'd like to come join us, we're going to be having a service starting at 4 o'clock. But if you're interested in coming to sing some carols, wear your finest Christmas sweaters and join us at 3:30 p.m. Before the service begins, and we'll sing some of our favorite carols and other Christmas tunes. So come join us this Tuesday evening, 3:30 for carols and 4 o'clock for our Christmas Eve service. And if you would now please rise and join hands with your neighbor, or we also have this wonderful sign of "Please do not touch me." This is for all of those of you that, don't want to be touched. Those of you online are also welcome to extend a handout to your screen and come join us. And I just invite you to feel the connections of all of this light and love in this room that we've shared in this hour. Just take a moment to close your eyes and breathe deeply and just feel the vibrations, the connections. And in the spirit of covenant, community, and commitment, and in the spirit of darkness and light, may we be made ready to serve one another and create the world we so desperately dream of. Go in peace, pass a little squeeze or an air 5, and happy Sunday.